I want to make a quick little video to introduce you to some of the systems we're using in our class, just to make sure everybody knows where to find resources that are available for you. So the purpose of this video is to teach you about the systems we're using, and I'm going to make a quick video to just kind of go over the Google Classroom and the netacad Cisco IT Essentials class. We also have Test Out and Linda, and then of course YouTube. So let's jump right in. So your class stream, I will usually post things every day to the Google Classroom, and your class stream assignments, announcements show up here. It's important when I give you a due date that you go in and do the task and mark it done and do what the task tells you to do and do it on time. If you look over on the left pane here, you can click View All, and we'll show you assignments that have been assigned. These are all the assignments that I've given you since the start of school year, and you can see a lot of people haven't finished them. So it's going to be important over the next couple days to get these assignments finished. That's the to-do. If you look at your calendar, it will show you assignments and questions that have been assigned to the Google Classroom that you should have done. So if something's due in the future, you can click ahead and you can look ahead and see what's going on, or if it's in the past, all of your assignments are there. Another way to find your assignments is just go to your email and search for them. But probably the easiest way is just use your calendar and make sure that you've done all this work in the Google Classroom. So if we go back to this, the left pane there, go back to the little hamburger menu, and click on your settings. You can manage if you're receiving email or not email from the Google Classroom. So if you turn this on, you can go through here and manage all of your notifications to the Google Classroom. Some students like to have the notifications turned on, some don't. I know to check the Google Classroom, so I just turn mine off. If you're someone that's missing news, you should leave your notifications turned on. Entirely up to you. So if we go back to the stream, it doesn't load the entire stream when you click on it. You have to scroll down to the bottom. One of the kind of annoying features of Google Classroom is if you're not keeping up on it, it's hard to find the things from the beginning. So Control F doesn't always work. But if you do Control F and you search for it, like we did a power supply lab, you can type in power or power supply and things will start loading up for in the Google Classroom. But if we did it months ago, Control F isn't going to work. So there's the Google Classroom. IT Essentials, there's a couple different ways to launch the course. You can just click on Launch Course here, or you can go over to your modules. It's basically the same thing. In order to log into the IT Essentials class, you're going to have to check your email. You were sent an email from the Cisco Networking Academy team, and you go ahead and create your own account. By now you should have done the course introduction, and right now we're going on Chapter 1. The first activity we did for Chapter 1 was today, and we did our power supply hands-on unit for power supply. If you click on the course index, you can look and see what you're going to be learning. If you scroll down and you click on power supplies, you can go right to the unit in the netacad that talks about power supplies. You can also, under the course index, look at labs. And if there's a lab in the netacad, like Ohm's Law, you can find the lab a little bit quicker. Or if you're looking for a video on power supplies or anything else, you can look to see if there's a video on it. And then Packet Tracer is something that we don't get until we do networking. But basically it's a software simulation for building networks. So the course index is very useful for people to know how to move around in the netacad and to find things easier. So the first chapter was power supplies. You want to read up on power supplies, you just scroll down. There's a lot of things to read in the netacad if that's how you like to learn. Click on next. You can bookmark things, you can comment it. Anytime you see information in a table, it's always important. So when you see a table like this, you need to stop and study this and take notes. And then there's things to read off to the side. There's also interactivities that you'll run into, interactive activities, and there's labs. This is the same lab that you can find in the course index. And from time to time, as you move through the netacad, there will be an interactive activity that it wants you to do, basically a drag and drop or a fill in the blanks type activity. That's navigating the netacad. This is an example. Oh no, it's not. I thought this was going to be a drag and drop, but it's not. Talks about all the different types of RAM. All information that will wind up on your 901 exam when you go to take it. So rather than scrounge around looking for interactive activities, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the course index, look under labs, so just to show you how to move around, this is chapter 1, section 1. In chapter 1, section 1, there's a lot of information. And as you click on these little boxes, eventually you'll get to the curriculum. That's one way to navigate. So you can see this section 1.1 has 4 topics. Section 1.0 had only 1 topic. Section 1.2 only 1, 1.3 only 1, and then the summary. So that's how you move around. We're going to do chapter 1. And we're going to do our first test on chapter 1, the first half of chapter 1, on, I think it's September 15th. That's the test date for the first chapter 1, section 1. And we'll do the other sections. So it's just this section right here, 1.1, these 4 topics. There's a lot of information in those 4 topics. That first test date is, like I showed you, September 15th. Moving on to Test Out Lab Sim. Test Out Desktop Pro, that's used for your Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint certification study. We'll be starting that up soon. And Test Out PC Pro, this is our CompTIA. This is the same curriculum as the netacad, only it's presented a little bit different. So if you want to try to match this up with what's going in the netacad, you have to learn how to use the course outline. So when we're looking for things about power supplies, it might not be the same. It might not come in the same order that netacad did it. So you might have to look for it. Chapter 2 talks about the PC technician and chapter tools. That pretty much lines up with our chapter 2 in the netacad. There's the power supply. So the power supply is unit 3.2 in Test Out. That little graphic there means there's a video that will show up. So you can play the video. You can play the video with a script if you like to see that. And you just hit play. That's what the videos look like. Some of our students really like the videos. Others not so much. There's the text. There's the video. So power supplies in Test Out is 3, 2, 1. And you can go through and learn about power supply facts, the components, video, another video, how to install one, and then some practice questions that you're going to need to do. Now, we as teachers, we get results on how you do on these questions. We also know how much time you spend on the activities. Another resource we use is lynda.com. You get to follow the instructions on our Google Classroom under the About section, under important links. If you go to these important links, it tells you how to log on to all these various systems that we use. And you want Lynda, so Control F, L-Y, L-I-N-D-A. It's right here. There's Lynda. Mike Myers' videos on Lynda. Your username and password, and you have to sign in with the organization. If you use this link, it'll take you to the organization sign-up page. You have to do that the first time at KCTC, and it will let you use this tool like it's meant to be used. If you sign in or create your own account, it won't work like we want it to work. To find things in Lynda, all you need to do is type 901 and search it. And there's like a whole 901 class in here if you want to take it. So 901 talks about the certification exam itself. It's 10 minutes long. We're doing part 1. So as you go through part 1 and hit play, you can watch videos, and you're going to learn about things like show up under the introduction here. So the visible computer, the microprocessor, installing a CPU, RAM, BIOS, system setup. So there's videos 4 or 5 minutes long. They kind of do them kind of short, and it keeps track of what you did if you sign in, so that you know what you watched and what you didn't watch. You can also type 901 power supplies and see what you get. I didn't get what I wanted to get. Power supplies, I believe, will show up in this one here. You can search the course here for power supplies. So if you're trying to match up the netacad with the videos, if you want to just watch the power supply video in Lynda, you have to learn how to search Lynda for power supplies. We aren't always going to do them all in the exact order. They all don't do them in the same order. This guy's Mike Myers. He's pretty funny. It's a 5-minute long video on power supplies. We could show these in class. You can watch them independently. They're just resources that help you learn. Some students like to turn up the speed a little bit so they can go faster. Just depends. Some like to go a little slower. Depends what you want. He'll also do closed captioning if you want to read what he's saying. So you have the Google Classrooms where we assign our work. You got invited to the Google Classroom. It's just your normal kentisd.net username and password. Important links are in the Google Classroom. IT Essentials, you were emailed that to your kentisd.net. If you don't have it, search your email for networking team, and your email will show up, or ask your teacher. Test out, we created the account for you. You just log in with your kentisd.net username and password. You don't create an account there, it's already created for you. We have videos on lynda.com. Sign on first through the at Kent ISD at school, and then it will create your account is already created. Then you can sign in wherever you are on lynda.com. will know you. It just wants to know that you signed in first at school, because we have to pay for that. Then you can trusty old YouTube. If you just type 901, there's a million resources on 901 that you can use to do this. One of the people we really like is Professor Messer. And Professor Messer will talk a lot about 901, and you can even find power supply videos on there if you want. So Professor Messer's power supply, you want to make sure you're doing 220-901. That's the new test. It's 1.8, and you know that because you can look at the exam objectives. So if you click on this, it will be Professor Messer talking only about power supplies. Now the downside here, with using YouTube is you're going to have to put up with the advertisements, but it's a small price to pay for free stuff. So I hope that understands how these all work together. You're free to use one, some, or all of them, and as the semester progresses, you'll understand how many of these resources you actually need to use.